level arrests. We have Mike and his crew who are the investigators that are actually doing, the behind the scenes stuff, as far as dealers, things like that, the larger busts. But what's unique to the Sheriff's Department is we not only have those two arms of our enforcement division, we also take care of the jail. And this is probably one of the biggest problems that we deal with in the jail. We have 300 plus inmates. If you ask most of them why they're in jail, almost all of them will relate it to some sort of substance abuse. So we have many programs that we're going through in the jail. If you watch what we're putting out in the news, almost everything we do as far as Jim's side of it, as far as Mike's side of it, as far as the jail side of it, almost all of it relates somehow to substance abuse. And of course, the big elephant in the room right now is the heroin epidemic. You've seen us, as far as our grants that we received for the Narcan, that was something that was initiated through our EMS services that was provided to us to give to the public through our local hospitals. It's an expensive thing. So we decided that instead of going to a service that's trying to make their living off of it and using their resources, we actually went out and tried to get a grant to supply the Narcan throughout the county through the health department, and we've been able to do that. And actually, starting next week, we'll be giving it out to Syracuse, to Milford, to Webster.
They said they went from $10 for one of them up to 15.
Oh, it's expensive. And some of the more medical side ones go even farther than that as far as expense. But those are the fronts that we're fighting the battle on. We fight it every day. Mike and I was just talking about an ego grinder that we just received, and we kind of got a push and shove going on because of how many different people are wanting to use the thing. It's something that we've never had before, and everybody's just converged and they've found it, and you wouldn't think that's something that would get used a lot. It's ever since we bought it, it's been used every day. On our jail side, it's because we have people that take insulin, all kinds of drugs. On their side, they're coming across people left and right that have these needles for the heroin. So kind of on my end, it's more of a, trying to put all the pieces together and make everything work together so we fight it on all areas. These guys are actually out there every day actually dealing with the same people that you're dealing with and with the same problems. And Mike has a lot of good information. He has more experience than I have, and he's going to be able to give you the best information that you can have on how to recognize what's going on, maybe some tips on how to help us catch these people. The information you provide us is going to be the most important thing, especially like if they leave this property or stuff or something like that. What you can provide as the point of contact is going to mean whether they catch the person or not. Okay, and I'll turn it over to Mike.
Thank you, Chris. My name's Mike Spiegel. I work at Cascade County Sheriff's Office. I've been doing the drug enforcement for probably about 1988 to current. Now you're gonna stand up here and see me and I'm gonna act like a meth head going at this because I go 100 miles an hour. So what I live off of is though, you can get on Google, you can get on search and find everything you want on the web about this stuff. Look at it, see how it's done and everything else. I live off questions and answers. If you've got something, wave at me, butt in, throw something at me, get my attention, and ask me the question before you forget it. Because that's one of the big things I see is people forget what they wanted to say. So ask it at the time. It's not hurting my feelings to interrupt me, believe me. But what I've got here is the stuff that we've worked now. We've worked heroin, acid, psilocybin, any drug you can think of. Heroin was back when I first started. I was buying it in Goshen in the late 80s, early 90s, and it went away. Because we had other drugs coming in, get cheaper. Cocaine was still around, and it still is. Methamphetamine. So heroin went away. Horse is what they'll call it back in my day. Now it's called points, boy, anything like that. If you're hearing those things, seeing texts that are referencing points or boys, they're talking about heroin. So with that being said, that's now a focus that we've got where we're having all kinds of ODs on it. The old way of dealing with heroin was methadone. You've heard everyone a few years back when the meth was so hot and heavy. That was what they were using. They were trying to use methadone to wean on, wean off. The problem that came with those were they were weaning them onto it and not weaning them off.
But what actually is methadone?
Methadone is a synthetic like opiate. So it's trying to combat that. But I can do it by grams. rather than, you know, taking a line of heroin or a line of meth. I can take it with that. And it'll take me up, it'll take me back down. But when you get up to where you're not having the DTs and you're not having the throwing up and the pains, gets you there, levels you off, and then we start weaning you down off of it. They always find another complaint. Habitual back problems, headaches, other things that doctors now do pain therapy, and they keep them on. It's just extending their problem because 9 times out of 10 they're going right back to heroin. Now, any rehabilitator in this room would shoot me for saying that right now, but it's just what I've seen. Work the stuff with the meth labs that you've heard about through the years, and now we're working the same way with heroin, with the motels and the hotels. People are showing up there. Why? Was for the smell and stuff. They could get a secluded room with the meth, they could cook in there, nobody'd see them. It was kind of secluded. Nobody saw them. Nobody was checking on it. Why would they? We started catching on to that. We started working with the hotel managers to the extent that they would work with us, and giving them intel, telling us what these people are like. I heard you talking out in the hallway, the people that are typically going to do this stuff, weekends, some long-term, kids. That's the common denominator that really hurts. You're going to see kids just because they have kids.
I think the biggest thing that I've seen here and the confusion that we have is what the guests' rights are versus what we are allowed to do when it comes to in and out of their room after they've rented.
You're on the civil end. We're on the criminal end.
Correct.
Two ends of the spectrum.
Yep.
But they always collide. Now, what I'll say about that is you have policy and procedures that you have to follow. If you suspect it in there, you can't hand us a key and say, go in. We can't do that.
Right.
If you find something that's on your obligation and you are concerned and want it removed, call us. But, you know, there's a lot of the old days we used to just get keys and be able to go up and go in. Can't do that. They have a contract with you.
Correct.
Now, if there's smells, if there's indications of something going on, when we get there, we'll come to you with a search warrant and go in that way. We'll try and find other ways to do that without you handing us the key, because we're not going to break the law.
Right.
That's where that comes to. Now, as far as giving us information, plates, people, that's just a drug tip. That's what you do normally. Sometimes they get into it, well, it's taking business away from us. Not you guys, but others, I hear. I've heard that. Well, I'm sorry that's taking business away from you, but I wouldn't want that type of business coming into my place. First off, you don't know what they're doing in your motels.
I don't know if I want to know what they're doing.
Chemicals that leak down your drains.
Exactly.
Have you had any septic problems? Is this run into the city?
No, this is all on its own
All
septic
on-
system.
You have had any clogs in your toilets and such?
Only when we had the pool flood.
If there's filters in between, going to certain areas or down in the trailer courts, in the motel, they're getting filled with needles. They're afraid to throw the needles away because you guys might see them in the trash.
Okay.
They'll throw those needles down there and they compact up. I can't tell you how many places I've been to. I finally tracked a trailer down in Warsaw in a trailer court. I was able to track it back to the line and find the trailer. We got them on a meth thing. Because they were flushing it, scared we'd find them, because they know we look in trash. They know that you'll see that stuff in trash. So that's one of the concerns. While I'm speaking, but is that answered some of the questions?
Oh, yeah,
Is
yep.
there any other?
No, that's what I want to make sure
Check
was.
your company policy.
Yep.
We just can't get handed a key and go in. Now, we'll come in here and want to do surveillance, or maybe want to use a room, something like that. But we're going to make you aware of that sometimes we won't. And it's not because we don't trust you, it's just there's no need for it. We're just looking to see what people are doing.
Sure.
Okay?
Yep.
But then again, check your policy. I'm going to stick mainly with the heroin, because we have a lot of ODs. You haven't any ODs up here on that, have you?
I don't think so.
If it keeps going on, it's just a matter of time. It's not if, it's when. Because that's where they come to do it. They're away from their family, away from their friends. We had a guy bond out here just recently that he got caught again. I don't know if you've seen it, but he's got caught again. He goes to a motel right when he bonds out and starts right again. It's a highly, highly, highly addictive drug. We were talking earlier about it. Why is it so addictive? Because the majority of these people are already abusing some type of drug. Marijuana is marijuana, what it is. It's legalized, medical use, and it's coming this way. I have some questions and answers to that I'd like to get taken care of, but it is what it is. They're usually abusing that, or alcohol. When they're smoking that marijuana, somebody introduces them to this stuff, and they're like, I don't know. We don't even smoke it. They start out, I'm just doing marijuana, I'm smoking, it's not hurting me, I can control it. Heroin gets a hold of you, flips your whole demeanor around, your central nervous system, switches you around, gets your endorphins, gets your receptors and neurons. Once it gets a hold of that, you're done, you're hooked. It ain't like I can just sit it back down. Now they're smoking. which I said I'd never do because I didn't want to go to harder drug. Now they're hooked, they need that bigger, better high because always they're looking for the bigger, better, chasing the dragon, they used to call it. Looking for the bigger, better one, and what do? Go to needles. I just had a guy tell me the other day, I'd never do needle. I smoke it a lot, but I'd never do needle. I bet you I'll see him in 3 months and he's needling. Guaranteed.
So there's other ways though to do it?
You can smoke it,
Okay.
you can snort it,
I
which a
thought
lot
it
don't
was just-
do, and you can inject it with saline. Or just cook it down and inject it. What guys you want to look for when you're in here, there's two types, and I call them rigs. If you're coming across, let me finish first about people showing up. People that are going to show up outside, I used to refer to them as Smurf when they go through the line to get pseudoephedrine. They're the same thing, they're going to send in the least likely person that you're going to think is one to go to the counter. They're going to use local driver's licenses. Why is a local person staying at a motel? Why aren't they home? Why are they paying in cash and not cards? Why is dad bringing them in and paying for it? All these are indicators. Not just one in and of itself is going to be something that you're going to point out you're a heroin user or you're a speedball user. Speedballs are mixing heroin and meth. Meth is causing a lot of these multi-toxicity deaths. So when you hear these indicators, it's just not someone coming in with a local driver's license, paying in cash, but when you get 4 or 5 of those things together, kind of pointing that way towards them. Like this dude's probably someone we ought to keep an eye on. Staying in their room longer.
Not wanting to turn down service.
Like you said out there, we staying in the hallways earlier. I like to have my stuff turned down. I like the clean sheets. I like pillows fluffed. I like that candy. You know, give me that stuff in my room. People that don't want people in. Now, it's not necessary. I go to some schools with a guy, he just wants to shut the door and no one, nobody in there. It's just him. But the majority of people want that. Really private. Why are they private? Because they're going to be doing dope. They don't want to put any red flags up. They will bring kids along. First off, they're there as their girlfriends or boyfriends. They're taking them along. That's just a smoke screen. We went on one the other day. The kid tested 86 nanograms. 2-year-old. Do I think they're giving the kids the meth? No, I don't think they're giving the kids the meth. I think what's going on is they're picking things up. Kids at that age stick stuff in their mouth. Touch counters. Mom and dad are hugging and kissing them after they've done it. Getting it up there. That's what I believe. I would hate to think there's the most hideous person out there with JR if they're giving their kids meth. But we had to take them out in a similar circumstance just the beginning of the week. So that's what it is. The kids are a smoke screen. They love their kids? Yes, but at that time they love their dope more. And if you want to ask one of the hardest things I've had to do in my job is to take those kids away from mom and dad. They don't know why. It's just, that's a hard thing for me to do. Rigs, you're in the room. If you get to go into the room. If you're seeing trash, they set out. One thing I'd say look for in trash, you've seen insulin needles. You know what an insulin needle is? I had one, but I bet you I left it lay on the counter. Orange cap on the end of the needle. Seen those? Those stand out in trash, those plastic bags like you can't believe. Doesn't mean they're not insulin users, but then again, one of the indicators is there. Now we got an orange cap in their trash they're throwing out, if they're not flushing their needles. These are what I call rigs that they'll rig up with, that you may see. They're going to have it in, usually the packs they'll have, not backpacks, not luggage, not roll-arounds, slung over their arm, coming in to stay. Usually what they are. Okay, there's the orange cap I'm talking about. This stuff is all pristine. I don't bring dirty stuff in. I still wouldn't want you touching it, but that's what it is, it's pristine. This rig here is a needle rig. That's an insulin. That's what they're going to flush. Brown fluid in it, any fluid in it, call me. I just got one the other day I tested, and it tested for meth. So there's still meth there, there's heroin, but then when they mix them, it'll be brown. Heroin will be brown, meth will be clear, or it could be pills mixed with saline.
And it's okay to call you
Yes.
and possibly be wrong, and you
No,
but
no,
still
no,
just-
always
just
call.
for safety.
No, for safety, call. When in doubt, there's a thing with, while I'm on that, heroin, I'm telling you what that is, something that's coming along with it, or called Paraphernalia. Have you heard the Paraphernalia? It's an elephant tranquilizer. Some brainiac in California, Mexico, or something was playing around and found an elephant tranquilizer can get you high. But you know what it can also do? Because there's such a small amount, it can kill you. If I had to give training on fentanyl, I'd walk in here right now and go, it can kill you. That's all you need to remember. and you'll treat it a whole lot different. When in doubt, call us out. Get us. They'll come secure, we'll come gather. Couple of things about it, your skin's porous. This stuff will go through your skin. It's also airborne because it's a powder. You can breathe it in. Now, I'm just doing that to make you aware. We haven't had any of those incidents here in the county yet, but they have in the state. So just be aware of that. When you're dealing with heroin, you could be dealing with fentanyl, which is coming out of, illegal substances out of Mexico. Then again, needle, rubber pieces, that's to tie up. If you watch the old TV shows, they're tying off a vein to get it popped up so they can hit it. What they have to do before that though, they've got to heat it up on a spoon. A couple of ways of doing that, if you see them. If you're seeing this stuff in rooms, why have they got a butane torch in their room? I'm telling you, if there's a butane torch in their room, there's go. I defy them to tell me another reason they're doing it. Butane to heat, lighters to light, because you're burning your thumb. No one can hold a lighter, that's... Q-tips. Q-tips without the ends on. What they're doing with those are, you're taking that and putting in that spoon. That's your filter. So when I put my needle in there, I'm filtering it back through so I'm not getting hard chunks or any other crud or cut that may be in that thing. Make sense? Biohazardous. Biohazard? Biohazard. Because they're drawing it through that. Sharing needles. They can go buy needles, they have to sign for them, but they'll share them. When they get high, they don't care, they just want it into their body. So the indicators are orange caps, pieces of cotton, a butane lighter.
Anybody can buy needles?
Anybody can buy needles, you can just go in and sign for them. What's your name now?
Really?
So that doesn't scare them away because nobody's checking the needle charts. We used to check them in the early days, but it's so much. And there are a lot of people with genuine uses for needles.
Yeah.
And, you don't want to go in and call somebody out. It's just
Like
an insulin person. I remember I was looking on a log one time, saw a judge's name on a pseudoephedrine thing. I'm like, I'm not even touching that because he didn't have anything to do with it. It's just, it lumped him in like 5 down, was my user. So they're going to run together.
Yeah.
Other things, have you ever seen these little rose holders? Used to put a rose in them, used to get them at the stopping rods up here. They get a hole in them, you put your meth in there and you smoke it. Heating the glass up, it doesn't conduct heat, so your hands aren't gonna burn, and you can heat this bowl up and you smoke that down. All you want is the fumes in. Instant high, boom! Just like a needle that has to take a pump through your blood, that's going right straight to your vela, right to your brain, boom! You've seen a lot of these.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Real quick, just the other day we were here, you guys called us because you saw something in the diaper bag.
Yep.
Call us back here, tell me you smell marijuana. That's our way into the room, talked about that earlier. When we go in the room, is there any housekeeping in here? Okay. Just about everything he's got on this table was in that room.
Are you serious?
Really?
Yeah. And in like his bags and stuff, but it was in there.
It was in the room.
It was in the room with,
In the
like,
room?
you know where it was at? It was in the diaper bag with where his kids' stuff.
Then again,
Right.
I've seen mine in diapers. Those kids, they love their kids, but not as much as they're loving their dope at that time. I've had them hide it in the kids' diapers so they won't get caught with it.
I know Jamie was sick because he had the little boy there, right?
Yeah, it was hard.
And then we got mom out in the parking lot with the same stuff was out there in a different bag. Mom and dad both went to jail that night. For,
They were ones that didn't.
That was really
yeah,
hard.
meth and marijuana. And they had that beautiful little boy, right?
Oh my
Just
God,
the
yeah.
happiest kid. He was exposed to every bit of this. So if you get anything out of this, as room service, or as housekeeping, just
Keep your eyes open.
keep your eyes open. Yeah.
Then you made the statement about, I don't want to be wrong. We're not gonna go tell those people unless we have
I've
this.
heard that from a lot of our
We're gonna
employees.
come up, all it is I treat it like a hang-up phone call. I'm gonna ask you your name or anything. It's like I had a phone call at the office, somebody said there's dope on so-and-so, click. I don't have to divulge that. I will build my probable cause from other things. But that gets us there to where we can start working when we need. So we're not gonna divulge people's names. I'm not gonna give that up. I don't have to. I'll find another way to work it, because the last thing you wanna do is endanger someone like me telling you to go out and get the plates off the cars when they pull out. I'm not gonna endanger you. If there's a chance that you could do that, but don't put yourself out there on it. These people are volatile. When you're gonna, first off, they're high, and when you're gonna take their livelihood away and their kids and put them in jail where they know they're gonna have pain, they don't care. Did you see the high-speed chase last night? You hear about it? Read about that one. Rugged news. Then again, these big indicators, you'll see them. The broken, they'll throw them away, they'll be in the trash if you happen to see them. These are the old boat styles, they'll use it too, aluminum foil. See the burn on the bottom? Burn on the bottom's from the torch. On the top, there's a little, I'm touching this because I made this. It's not a, and again, this is inert, doesn't have dope on it. That's why it's burnt on the bottom. Then there'll be something on top that's the product that they're doing. They're, again, taking that and taking this. Could be a Bic pen, the end's pulled out. That's what they call the tutor. And then you just put her in and then draw the smoke straight in, so it's not going everywhere. It goes straight off of there. Tutors, big time. Now, the old thing, you probably won't see anymore, but I dealt a lot with, even some of our old timers we still do see with it, is the old, Mom used to clean the pans with this, my grandmother, the copper Brillos, they still sell them. All it is a filter for a pipe when they're smoking like meth, and it's not crushed up and it's in a rock. You put that in there, and that keeps from getting that hot coal down your throat while you're eating that up. Just holds it out. It's big with crack, but we're seeing it still around. Let me make sure I get my rings all screwed up. Containers, any type of container they want to haul it in. I've never got these, oh, that's my pill container. How many 24-year-old kids do you see going around with a pill container? I'm 56, I got one. And I don't do dope. That's something that indicates this, again, one in and of itself is not it. Get some together. Baggies. Who has little square baggies? That was one of the stupidest ones I heard today. My partner Tony pulled me over and goes, well, tell me what you just told me. Oh, I'm hanging on to them for a buddy. He had over 100 of these little plastic Ziploc baggies. Hanging on to them for a buddy. I'm not stupid here. That's what they're doing. They're dealers now. That's how you find them. Now you've got not only users, you got a dealer. Because how, these people aren't working. They're not doing anything but living off everybody else or their parents. So what do they got to do? They got to get high. They also got to pay for that high. So they're selling a little bit. You guys all know digital scales. Don't tell me you're weighing your food. You say, oh, I'm on a diet. I got that. I can get that. I'm on a diet. I'm weighing it for my food. Make sure I got the right amount. Oh, you're also an insulin guy, huh? I mean, but again, little things like that are going to be indicators for you. Leaving those doors shut and not allowing you in. You said do not disturb for a certain amount of time. Usually there's going to be probably 3 people, if not more. There could be 2, but 2 have kids. So that's what I'd look for. And why are they waiting out in the car? Why are they going in different doors if you have accessibility? Why are they got their backpack on, walking upstairs, and their look? It's pretty warm out today, pretty nice. A nice day. In 80, 90 degree weather, I don't wear this. They do. Because you're gonna have the needle mark. You're gonna see, they don't want you seeing those. Their needle marks can range anywhere from here down to the hand. Think of when you go to the hospital if you've had to have an IV. They'll put IVs in here, they'll put anywhere they can find that vein, they're gonna get into. When veins start to break down and collapse, they've gotta move.
Needle marks can be anywhere.
Needle marks can be anywhere, feet, back of legs, anywhere they can get a vein. Typically it's here because it's easier for them, and they're not gonna cause any problems by missing all the time. They can see it and they can do it. Got a guy here that was a cook down in Warsaw. I would never go into that place. If you ever see me walk into a place around here, turn around and leave, there's a reason. This guy was, he had needle marks all the way around his hands. He told the employer that it was a burn from a stove, that he picked up a hot pan. I know different. I just saw a girl came in, all scabbed up on her arm. Repetitive needle hits. She's pretty bad off right now. I mean, as far as addicted. So we've got to get a hold of her, get her isolated from the drug, which is what jail does, till they can take care of themselves. Well, they've got a program that can help them. There are programs out there. Programs are expensive. But they're trying to work through that. I'm for rehabilitation, but I know that we got to get them isolated prior to that, so they go, you cold son of a gun, why are you putting them in jail? Because I've got to get their attention. I don't want to take their kids away. They've got to right now, because you don't know. I would never want to sit every night and stick that in my arm. Heated up, the process I have to go through, the people I have to deal with. You guys are so close to Elkhart County, Goshen. pretty bad in that area. It's bad here, but not the extent they've got. I can tell you with confidence that all that's coming from Elkhart and St. Joe County.
Here's pictures that we found. This was one night in the room of when they came.
I've got
Now it makes sense about the Q-tips, but what is the?
that pseudo, oh no, those are the baggies, those are little plastic baggies.
So what is the, or the, blue tube?
The blue tube is actually, that's what I'd equate that to. Because that's a rigid one. The only reason for rigid that I've seen are HCl generators. I mean, it's an acid generator to make meth. And that's got some smell to it when they burp the bottle. So when you show me that, that was the first thing that come to my mind, since it's rigid like that. But he's a dealer because he's got the little plastic bags, except his are a little sharper looking.
Yeah, he does have a nicer one.
Yeah, that's exactly what that was. I saw those back in the day when they, crack cocaine was in Fort Wayne. That would identify the street corner that you went to. That's this guy's stuff, and you can trust it. It's a bunch of BS, but that's what they tell you. But that's,
That makes sense of what a lot of
Meth?
that is, though.
yeah, that's probably what that is. He's getting ready to make an HCl generator. If you find a bottle with sludge in it, typically Mountain Dew bottles, because they're high in sugar and they crave sugar. If you find that, do not call immediately. I don't care if it was nothing, if it was just they mixed some formula up and it went bad. We'll come up and look at it. Better safe than sorry. That's what we're here for. Better safe than sorry. We'll come up, we'll get it taken care of. HCl generator has muriatic acid in it. It's creating hydrochloric gas. It's just the whole process of meth, one of the processes of meth. Don't pick these up. Don't open the bottles. Mountain Dew bottles typically. That's what they're drinking. Another indicator. Not in and of itself is it a drug thing, but if there's a lot of them, orange caps, plastic baggies.
Well, and I saw, it looked like pens when we were cleaning that room that had a lot of tape, and then
So it did burn, yeah.
and a needle in the side of the pen.
Tattooing.
Okay.
Someone's, they're doing jailhouse tats. There's a lot of ways I can do that. I can do it right now if that thing was working. With styrofoam cup, with anything. That's the first thing I think of, is they're using those needles, and they're just putting the stuff on and pushing it into the skin. High, with nothing else to do on their time, but somebody said, that's cool, let's do that.
I found a lot of them in that room, so I
You know,
didn't
if
know
you're
why.
dirty enough to sit in a thing with a bunch of people and not take a bath and just, not eat and do everything, you stick that in your arm, you'll get a tattoo. I mean, that style. I'm not against tattoos, I'm against that type. Because first off, I've seen too many misspellings. I was pretty much sure I know how to spell motorcycle, and that guy didn't get it right. Other thing I want to touch on real fast. The pseudoephedrine, if you do run across it, those two go together. Pseudoephedrine and that blister packs. At first I thought that's what those were, but they're not, they're baggies. Blister packs, punching out to do meth. We haven't got a lot of the homegrown cook as much. It's kind of went down. So, but it's still there. Bottles with stuff in them, where you see a hose like that, that's what you got. Yeah, those are the.
That's what it is.
Huh?
That's probably what that is.
No, that's probably Oxycontin, or it's prescription. Somebody's selling their prescription drugs there. So what is that? Somebody's getting overprescribed by a doctor, or stealing them from their grandparents or whoever, and making money per pill to pay for this problem. Coming here wanting to use, like out in the country and stuff, they'll go to old folks' home and ask they use the phone in the bathroom. And when they go in the bathroom, they steal their meds. That was a big problem we had back in the day. The prescriptions, a lot of prescription bottles. Again, they'll tend to take them with them, but if you happen to get in a room and see a bunch of that stuff sitting around, in and of itself, may not be, but if you're seeing that, baggies, other things, scales, that you know what scales look like if you know when you're looking for them, little scales. They don't want to get screwed out of their stuff. Plus, and it's unbelievable, but I used to deal with these all the time before the digitals.
I was gonna say, I must be old because.
That's the mail scale. I was weighing my letter to see how much it's gonna cost me to send out. Right. What are you sending, needles? Then again, those are still used, but not as much. Marijuana, you guys all know the zigzag. Those two will go hand in hand. As far as deaths in the community, they started, wasn't as high starting out. It's starting to go back up. Getting warm weather, people are getting out. It's gonna rise. We just had one here a week and a half ago. A girl I knew since she was little. And you can only do so much for them. I mean, they've got to, and that's why I say isolation from the drug. That's where we come in.
Yeah, this is very educational, by the way, thank you. I didn't know that most of this existed. It's such a sad problem here and across the country. Is it gonna get worse before it gets better? What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, if you'd asked me that back with the meth, I thought it ain't gonna get no worse, and I think this did.
So this
Is it
is
gonna
worse
get?
than meth
I think it's hot.
This is worse than meth around here now.
It's killing. Meth was not. Meth was
People
bad.
start using meth as much.
They're mixing heroin and meth to get a thing called a speedball.
Is there enough up or down?
Yeah, you're just a roller coaster having fun. Heroin will just set you in a corner and drool. I mean, the guy we got the other day, his dad couldn't understand him even on the phone, he told me, because he's just drooling and slurring his words. It's a morphine. I mean, it's just gonna do that. Painkiller's gonna knock you back. And you're gonna get sick when you hit it. First few times, you're gonna throw up. You're gonna be sick. But is it? Yeah. It's gonna get, I don't wanna be I'm just gonna tell you my personal feeling. It's gonna hit real bad, and I don't know what we're gonna do. Where's it coming from? Well, a lot of it comes through Mexico. You can talk all day about what you wanna do with Mexico, but they have their stuff. I can go down there and write any precursor to make as much meth as I want across the line. They aren't as rigid as we are.
How do these people get access to all this stuff to make meth?
To make meth, I can go down to CVS and buy it right now. Everything I need, I can go to CVS and buy right now. I'm not on the registry because I haven't done it, so my name's clear. But if I go over a certain amount, I'm gonna hit. Because you have to show your driver's license. That's one thing we did with meth. If you go in to buy pseudoephedrine, you gotta give them your driver's license. They swipe it. It's an immediate system. It goes right in. If a police officer's sitting out front, they're gonna know that you did that right then. We have immediate access. So we did kind of get a handle on that, and that's kind of why it died down. But now they found people that want money, not drugs. I'll pay you $50 for a box, go in and get it for me. So, yeah, I can make it right now, easily. Hour and a half, I can have it done. If I really skip it, I can do it in an hour and have meth in one of these rooms, and you wouldn't know it.
And how easy is that stuff to blow up and like
It's
when
very
it's in
easy.
a room, it stays in a room, it's
It's very easy. They use a McDonald's bottle, or McDonald's,
2 liters.
yeah, any of those, but Mountain Dew mainly, because of the sweet, they're drinking sweets. That's why their teeth are all bad, because of the chemicals, because of not poor hygiene and all that sugar. If you look at the bottom of any of those bottles, the Gatorade bottle, when it's extruded, at the bottom's a little dimple, that's where it seals off, that's the weakest point of that bottle. Well, Syracuse had back a few years ago, do you remember the car that blew up when
the-
school was getting out?
Yep.
Burnt that car to the ground because the bottle broke. And usually the burns you'll see are